everyone. Happy Thursday. We are a week early, so thank you for accommodating your schedules by moving upstate of the castle this month by a week to accommodate my schedule. So I will be off next Thursday and Friday, so that's why I requested to move this meeting. And Evan so graciously agreed and modified it on the calendar, and you all still showed up, which is wonderful. So thank you for it. I'm going up to the Northwoods for a few days off to hang out with family, and it's my birthday, so.
Happy birthday.
Well, thank you. We have a lot of June babies I know in here too, so. And actually, Jennifer Recklitz and I share the same birthday, so. Next Thursday, be sure to stop by her office. She will be here, accepting all of our birthday wishes, so. So we have a full agenda today, but a smaller number of presenters than our usual scheduled programming. Maybe we'll even get you out of here early since Mike Brever's not on the agenda this month. Just kidding. So, oh no, I'm not. I know. Our famous thing that we always say when Mike presents, you know, back from the TV days when he was there, wrap it up. Wrap it up, Mike. So, but I will bring on up Miss Carol to give the resident council update.
Hello. Hi. We had our resident council meeting this morning, so this is just fresh things that I needed to think about. First of all, if the green containers are continuing to be a problem, Jorka will probably talk about those, but if you are having somebody and they're leaving the building, make sure that they get a styrofoam container. Or if you're going out of the building with food, put it in a styrofoam container to make sure that we don't lose them by mistake outside the building. They've got to be somewhere. They're not just disappearing. So anything you can do to find the green containers would be wonderful. Secondly, I don't know how many of you have walked around outside, but what I wanted to say and the council wanted to say is how beautiful the grounds are. They are just gorgeous this year. And I think it's amazing that we can have professional staff and residents all working in the yards together and have them look so kind of put together and not a plotch here and a plotch there, and like my garden looked like at home. So I just want to say a big thank you to everybody working in the gardens. The other thing is, if you notice, sometimes people are talking about how sticky it is around the juice machine in the bar area. That juice machine looks like it has a drain, but it doesn't have a drain. It just has a little grid with a space underneath that collects anything that falls in there. So when you're pouring juice or coffee, if your cup is a little full and you tip it a little bit, anything you pour sits there and attracts bugs and, becomes sticky. So if you can try when you're using that machine not to overfill or not to dump it into that base, that would be great. I was told that the staff clean there 3 times a day, so there's a lot of spilling going on there. Then the final thing I wanted to say is, we're all sitting in this room and the chairs are all in a row and everything looks neat. This morning there was an exercise class or 2 in here. Yesterday made me realize how seamlessly the staff make our life seem around here. There was a luncheon activity all morning. The tables were outside for the event that you could sign up on for the silent auction. And then within a short time, it was suddenly turned into a music venue. The tables were gone. There were drinks being served in 1884, and at 5 o'clock on the dot, suddenly there was food being served in 1884. Dinner was being served. That same staff had to dismantle and change everything. So, when you think about how much use our building and this room gets, a big thank you to the staff for making it seamless. And that's all for the council. Thank you.
Question,
Yeah.
do staff or outside caretakers use those green containers?
No. They do not use them unless
Do they
they're,
seriously disappear internally?
unless they're taking them up to one of the people they're providing services for.
Yeah, I just wonder if sometimes they're being used as a convenience to take things home.
I don't know. That isn't supposed to be the case. Thank you.
All right. No, staff do not dish up in the green containers. They take the styrofoam containers if they would be taking something home for the evening, so. So look to your neighbors, knock on people's doors, no. All right, and so for Brooke's update, Brooke is not here today. She's caught kind of the early summer flu, it appears. So I'm gonna be giving Brooke's update. From a healthcare update standpoint, we are operating on all cylinders over in Bradford Terrace, very busy with a lot of ins and outs. So the health center has been operating at around that 39, 38 average for the past month out of 40 total beds. So it has been moving and shaking with a lot of people coming in and out and coming from the hospitals, external individuals coming in as well as discharging. We have 15 out of 16 apartments in our memory support neighborhood, which is great. And then we have 16 out of 18 apartments in our assisted living. So just 2 small vacancies there. And again, they had their luau yesterday, their summer luau, a lot of different fun events going on throughout the summer that Evan and his team and Majorca and their team helped coordinate to put together, which is great. And then last month, or in the past month, we had our CBRF, so our third floor transitional living annual survey. So similar to how the health center is surveyed, we had a survey for our CBRF as well as our CAC to continue that licensure. It was a very thorough survey, actually the most thorough that I have ever experienced in my 8+ years here, which is great because again, those areas obviously still being regulated, still being provided extensive care, need that. And so we had our survey team on site and she provided 1 citation for CBRF Memory Support Neighborhood, or 1 tag is what we call it. And that was for a pre-admission assessment that is missing what they like to think comprehensively prior to someone coming in. So we're missing some details. We, similar to how you all did your MHAs with Teresa or with your physician before you come in, we do that in order to make sure you're appropriate for floors 1, 2, and 3. Throughout that process, they would like to see elopement as well as a more thorough pain included within that. She felt that what we had for elopement, it was not thorough enough. I was kind of contesting with her because that's my job. Where someone, if they were eloping, and not to go to Vegas eloping, but vacating their home or leaving, they would be in the comfort of their home versus sometimes moving to an unknown building or neighborhood. They would be more inclined to obviously vacate or be more accurate in their assessment if we did it the day of, which we do upon assessment or we do upon move-in, but she wants to see it about 2 weeks before they decide to move in. So just a brief paper compliance thing that, again, we've had the same assessment for the past 9 years, so that was something new to me because, again, they've looked at it. But that's the first feedback that we've gotten on that. So very easy fix by just obviously adding that to our nurse's assessment before someone moves in. But 1 small little tag. Otherwise, she was very complimentary of staff care and cleanliness of the building and so on. So any questions for me or Brooke on those updates? No? All right, next I'm going to introduce Mia Long, who is our HR generalist. Many of you know, back from maternity leave. we were hoping she'd obviously do a small presentation on her new
Of just
baby.
my child.
Yes, of just your child, but she's gonna give an Alzheimer's update.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. So I just want to give a quick update about our Alzheimer's campaign. So as you all know and have seen, we have the silent auction items out. They've been out for about a week now. Anyone can bid on those items. It doesn't matter if you're attending the event or not. You can still bid. However, if you are not attending the event, that is when the silent auction closes. So if there's an item that you want and are not attending the event, you might want to get a proxy or somebody to actually make sure you're winning the item you want to win. Also with that, the tickets, we are no longer doing any like set times to sell tickets to sign up to go to the silent auction. However, you can still stop by Mike Brewer's office, or you can stop by my office and let me know that you want to come to the event, and I'll put you on the sign up list. That you can sign up. The last day to sign up is next week on Tuesday, so if you're still thinking about coming, please let us know so we can get a proper head count so Majorca has enough food to serve for everyone. With the silent auction thus far, we've also raised almost over $8,000, so still coming and going, and we are hoping to raise a lot more money with all the items that we have out, so just keep that in mind. Please donate if you can. There's also the donation box out there. If you don't see any items that you want to bid on, but you still want to participate, you still want to donate, you are more than welcome to submit a donation into the donation box. Any questions about the silent auction or anything about Alzheimer's? All right, thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. How's everyone doing?
Great.
Wonderful. So how many of us in here, I just have a couple updates, but how many of us in here are involved in some type of fitness? Whether it's group class or yoga or chair volleyball, personal training. Awesome. Love it. So I just want to give, I saw some more hands go up there as I spoke. So I just want to touch base that we have over 24 weekly group class offerings. Okay, so that can be, like I said, yoga, which we have now every Monday at 11 o'clock here in Lindsay Hall. That can be Pilates, which we've just brought in. That is every other Thursday at 9:30 here in Lindsay Hall as well. Sorry, I'm trying to keep these all straight. There's so many. We have Tai Chi, which is every other Tuesday opposite of our Pilates. So lots of great activities, and that's on top of, if that's not for you, we also have our standard stretch and tone classes, our group strength. So depending on what you're trying to work on, if it's balance, if it's posture, if it's your strength. So lots of activities and opportunities to participate and get involved. And that's on top of our one-on-one personal training. So with so many offerings, you might be thinking, hey, what's right for me? I'd be more than willing, or Evan or Kelsey would be more than, other Evan I should say, to meet with you if you're not participating or engaged in that, to kind of talk about, hey, what would be right for me? So we'd love to see you all there, and if you have any questions on those fitness offerings, please come see me at any time. And then the next thing I just want to talk about is some of our activities. So normally I almost always start off this State of the Castle, at least my portion, by saying how many of you got your July calendars. However, because we moved State of the Castle up a week, I don't have them finalized. But by early next week, I will have them out to you. And I just want to highlight a few things on the July calendar and some exciting things on the June calendar. So on the July calendar, we have 4 total happy hours next week or next month. And hopefully weather will be a little bit better than it was yesterday, so we can enjoy the weather outside and some music. And on the 13th of July, Acoustic Eccentric will be playing for us. And then
The other way around.
Eccentric Acoustic, excuse me, Ruth. Thank you. And then on the next week, to wrap up our satisfaction survey, we're going to be having a luau. So we're going to be having Polynesian dancers. We're going to be having a pig roast. Lots of exciting things. So Lindsay and Majorca will touch on base on that a little bit more too. But lots of exciting things happening at the castle in July. And then as far as June, I do want to touch base on a few things. So how many people are, let's just say, how many people are signed up to go on the mural tour? Or maybe you're on the wait list for the mural tour. The mural tour. The outing we're doing. Awesome. So, perfect. So I just want to touch base on the wait list. So wait list people, I have some good news. The Sue Hazelmeyer and Mary Johnson, who have been kind of working with us, and I shouldn't say working with us, I've been working with them on setting this up, but they've graciously offered to do a second tour in July. So you'll see that in July. I'll send out an email. You will need to re-sign up if you are on the wait list to go to the mural tour. Possibly we'll have one in August depending on what the interest is. So just because you're on the wait list, I don't want you to think you're going to miss out on it, but you will have to re-sign up. I believe it's the last week in July, but I'll put out an e-blast when I send out the activity calendars next week as far as what that looks like. And then I just want to remind everybody about the chair volleyball game next week. How many of you are planning on coming to play the director team? Anyone? A couple? Oh, only a couple. All right, we might not have as many chair volleyball players in here as normal, but would love to see you all there. It's going to be awesome fun. If you haven't played chair volleyball or spectated chair volleyball, this is a perfect opportunity to see what it's about. I know Wednesdays and Fridays, if you've been walking the hallways or maybe you're in the 1884 for lunch, you've probably heard a bunch of screaming, yelling, clearing. It's awesome fun and really a great activity. So hope to see you all next Wednesday. And then my last update before I take any questions is a reminder about the Edelweiss Tour. So we still have some open spots left for the Edelweiss Boat Tour, which will be August 5th. And we're going to depart the harbor at 4 o'clock, return around 6. Drinks, heavy appetizers, and a narrated boat tour from Paul Halbrick will be included with that price, as well as transportation. So if you have any questions, if you'd like to bring a guest, we'll love to make that happen for you. So please see me or sign up on the app. Again, if you do want to bring a guest, please reach out to me because I have a separate place, because on the app you can't sign guests up. So any questions with any of those topics? Leanne?
Is the mural tour just a driving tour? You just stay in the bus?
Yep, we stay in the bus. We will do lunch after at Socolo Food Truck Park. But yes, as far as we're not getting out of the bus for the tour, at least for the first one. That might change, but. Any other questions? Awesome. Ann.
Okay, so this morning we talked about the possibility of including an activity in one of our cocktail or happy hours. Do you want to talk about that?
Sure. How many people are interested in cornhole? Cornhole, bags. Anyone else? A couple? A couple. Okay. So I think at the next happy hour, at least outside, I don't know if inside it's probably as fun, but the next outside happy hour, we'll bring out the bags. We'd love for you guys to play. I'll even get in on the action if you want. You guys can challenge me or Ann or Pat. I see Pat's hand up here too. So yeah. Any other questions for me? Comments? Anything? All right. I'll pass it over to Majorca.
Good afternoon, everyone. So yes, green containers. If you have them, bring them back. We are experiencing the greatest shortage we ever have of them. Yesterday, we looked 3 or 4 times, and the total amount of green containers we washed yesterday was 15. So that is not very many. So a lot of you probably got dinner last night in styrofoam. So we do not want to have to start to charge residents for them again, But as I mentioned at the last State of the Castle, the price of them has gone up significantly. So if you have them, bring them back. We've worked really hard on this program. I don't want us to have to discontinue it. So check your neighbors' fridges when you go over and visit them and bring them down with you. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, Majorca, I'm wondering if, I was chatting with Helga about this, that maybe there are many people now who live here who were not here when we went through that process of deciding to do this, to go to the green containers, and that we did help to pay for them. Maybe we need to remind everyone of what that was, and that it really is a very meaningful thing, an expensive thing, but something that we really want to keep going. Maybe that would help to spur some people into making sure they get them back.
Yeah, we can definitely put out some information about that and let people know that this is how the program started, this is where the charge came from, just to kind of give everybody that reminder. Steve, did you have something?
Maybe some table tent reminders on our table, dining table.
Sure, we can put those out. I know that we have been putting like the little signs in the bags and things like that as well. Yes?
How many actually are there?
I have ordered so many that I don't have an actual physical count anymore, but when we first ordered them, we ordered enough to serve 80 to-go meals 3 days. So we ordered, and that includes enough for like soup, salad, entree, knowing that if we got them back in about 2 days' time, we'd still have enough to do one more service. So now that we can't even really get through a service is disappointing. Anne, did you have something?
Just a second, would it be helpful if you knew, like lately I've been having more meals brought up to me or picked up. Would it be a good idea to say, talk to individuals, like, Anne, I noticed you've been having, are you returning your
We do. We know that there's a few, I'll say, problem children. So Tanya and I will kind of mention when we see them, or if we are taking a delivery up to that person's room, we might wait, knock on their door, and just say, hey, do you guys have any green containers we can take back with you? So we do some of those things. Yes, Mr. Health.
Why don't we threaten a room search?
I'm not sure Lindsay would want us to do that, so. Yes.
I wonder why when they come to drop off food, they can't normally pick up what we have. I rinse out those things, I put them by the door, and I walk right by them down to dinner. And it would, just be another way to get them to the spot. If we could just put them in our bag and put it out the door. And when the cart comes by, it doesn't seem to me it should be a difficulty.
So what she had mentioned is like maybe putting them outside your room for pickup. Before I worked here, that's what they did, and the green container program then lasted about 2 months because unfortunately the containers got picked up by other folks and then got thrown away. So if you do have them outside your door and the staff sees them, they usually pick them up. But if you don't, let's say you order food tonight, and even though you rinse out the container, maybe nobody's going past your room for 3 or 4 days. So that's where they might sit there and just, even though you've rinsed them, they still can grow some animals on them. So that's where we're just like hoping that enough people come down to get mail, get something to eat, that they can bring them with them. So just chat with your friends, try to get them back down here so we can continue this program. Next is, oh yes, go ahead.
Just what if you had just a very plain, simple slogan that you put in the bags with the containers, like please rinse and return, and just simple and bold letters in that. And then another thing, maybe have a return spot not be so hidden or obscure, more open somehow by the bistro or. I don't know where. I don't have a suggestion.
Sure. We kind of chose the location location for return just to keep it kind of not being as much of an eyesore, because I don't want, my version of clean and your version of clean could be different. So if you're coming down and you're putting your bag on the bistro counter because maybe the bucket's full, and then next to that is somebody's lunch, it just might not be as appetizing. So that's why we kind of kept it where we did. Or we have a lot of guests that come and visit. When somebody comes and visits, they don't want to see this garbage can of overflowing green containers, so that's where it's kind of tucked in the corner there. But we can put up some more signs and put some signs in the bags and things to remind folks again. Your guys' second page of your agenda is all hospitality, important dates, and little reminders. So I'm just going to walk through it a little bit. The first thing is that every Tuesday we have the reoccurring Java drinks in the bistro from 8:30 to 10. And then last week we started our 1884 pub dining. So that is available every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 5 to 6:30, and you do not need any reservations for that. We intentionally wanted to start patio dining on Tuesday, but unfortunately Tuesday and Wednesday were a little bit full of rain, so we weren't able to do that. But if you guys are looking to dine outside for dinner, you can definitely ask at the host stand. We are going to set aside about 5 tables every night if you want to sit outside. We don't want to do any more than that because we don't want it to be overwhelming for the staff. But if you do choose to eat outside for dinner, we would just like that you stay outside for dinner. It's a lot if you've started outside and then I come with your food and you happen to be missing, and then I'm in the dining room searching for where you might be. So you can just ask when you make your reservation, or when you come to the host stand, if it seems nice out and you want to go out there, just ask and we'll get you seated out there. And then some upcoming service changes and special events. So tomorrow is Juneteenth. We are only open for lunch service tomorrow in the 1884. You can come down for lunch, you can order takeout, and you can do pickup. I know briefly last week, Thursday, there was a menu that was put out for about 30 minutes that did have Friday night dinner on it. With Tanya returning, myself and Tim's schedules, we all kind of had a brain fart, and I got home and I was like, shoot, that's wrong. So then we quickly fixed it the next day. So just lunch service tomorrow. On June 30th is the Alzheimer's event. We will not have normal dinner service that night. It will just be for Alzheimer's. If you do want to order takeout or pickup that night, that will be available. And then July 4th, it is a Saturday, so we will not have a continental that day. We will have our holiday buffet from 11:30 to 1. Even though a lot of the staff won't be here on Friday, as that's our day to observe 4th of July, normal dinner service will happen on Friday, July 3rd. July 23rd is our resident satisfaction survey. We will not have any takeout or delivery that evening, and we will not have the 1884 pub. We're just going to solely focus on the luau that night. And we have a really great menu planned. August 5th is the Idlewild event. That night also, we're only going to have service in the 1884. There seems to be a decent amount of residents who go on that tour, so we will just offer dinner in the pub. And then the last thing I have is just a little bit of a guest reminder down here. We are very excited that you guys bring lots of family and guests to dine with you. It has been increasingly more popular. And to us, it's a huge kudos to us that we're doing such a great job. But unfortunately, at times, it's starting to affect your neighbors and your other residents in their dining experience. So starting July 1st, if you do bring guests to a holiday buffet or to Sunday brunch, your guests will be charged an additional 10 points. You yourself will be charged the normal amount of points, but your guests will be charged that additional charge. As you guys know, food cost is continuously rising, and if you still were to go out for brunch, you would be paying a lot more than what you would be paying here with your points for that. Any questions for myself? Yes?
Whenever I see you and Tanya out in the dining room serving, I know that you're short of staff. What's causing that, and what's being done about it?
So we have some staff that's on vacation. So like you guys know, Dylan went to Italy for the summer. So we also had Tiana, I'll be honest, she found a job in what she went to school for, and it was a bit of a surprise to us. So we do have some new staff that's starting next week. Sometimes people are sick. We want to try to honor people's vacations as much as we possibly can. And you know, that's my job. Like, it's my job to help cover so my staff can have their time off. I would hate for somebody like Morgan not to be able to go on vacation because we're short somebody. So that's what we're here for. And did you have a question?
Yeah, if you want to eat outdoors, when you put your reservation in, can you reserve a table outdoors?
You can make a note in your reservation, I believe, that you want to sit outside.
Okay.
So you can go ahead and do that. Any other questions before I turn it back over to Lindsay? Yes?
The points for guests, did you say that's only for brunch or holidays?
Only for brunch or holidays, correct. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you, Majarka. Some great updates there, and a lot of awesome things happening in our food and beverage program. So just never cease to amaze me what they're able to offer and operate. And I love the food here. I just said that yesterday when I went to the grocery store. I'm like, goodness, I need to start eating at East Castle Place. It's getting expensive out there. But switching over to some questions, and I appreciate, we've seen an influx in questions, which is wonderful. Things that we do like to see, that Gigi will take, funnel through, either give to our directors or give to me, and we get it on the agenda, so please keep those coming. First, when will windows inside and out be cleaned? Well, your question, we are happy to answer, because next week, I hope you all were able to see the memo that got sent out last night. We are starting our window washing schedule on Monday, so June 22nd, and that will conclude on Friday, the 26th, and it will be starting in Bradford Terrace, and then we'll move over to Independent Living Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And again, our maintenance team will be available and be walking with the window washers, as it is a new company this year, a brand new organization that is coming through to do the window washing. And again, please, if you'd like to be there, plan to be there on your selected day. And if you do not, please be sure to let us know that we are able to come into your apartment. Yeah.
Well, on Historic Terrace, Friday, June 26th, floors 1 through 5. Do they start on 5 and down, or they start on 1 and go?
The question was, will they start on 5 and go down, or will they start on 1 to go up? That's a good question. I would say my educated guess, they start at the top and work their way down. I would bet money on that. But again, if they have a method to their madness as the professionals, because I am not a window washer, some days, but please stay tuned. And I think that would be a good question if you do call, if you need to modify your time or along those lines, please ask those questions for Michael, Jordan, and Eric. And then again, if there is something very similar to last year, if you have feedback to your experience, or they leave and you see a streak, etc., please put in a work order to have that handled right away. Again, utilize our Works Hub system, put in a work order for that so that we can get that rectified. The last thing we want is waiting 2 weeks and we hear about it through a friend of an experience. So, because again, this is a service that we pay a lot of money for, and so we want it to be a good experience for each and every one of you. All right, next question. When will ground floor patios and railings be washed to remove algae from over the winter months? So, for the ground floor patios and railings, if you are affected by that specific algae or kind of the green, please put in a work order, and Michael and Joshua will be able to get it scheduled to power wash it off. So if you are affected by that, please put in a work order. And we have a few grocery carts at each underground lot. So this is one that I will look into further. We have had in the past carts and available carts since earlier when I first started here at East Castle, and the problem was getting them back to where they started. Right? It still is. So this is an ongoing, similar to our green containers battle that I think we're experiencing, is we take things and then we forget to return them. We have carts in my building I live in at home, and they also have troubles getting it back to the basement oftentimes. It's on every HOA agenda. So something we can look into, but again, if you need assistance with carrying things up, please let us know. You know, if you have a large item, if anything, a lot of items, we would be happy to help you. It may not be obviously right in that lickety split, but again, we want to make sure you're safe and to get things from your vehicle up to your apartment accordingly. So you can coordinate with the front desk on that. Next question, could the cameras be on 24/7 at the pool? Yes, because they always are on 24/7, 365 days a year. So we have cameras in the pool that look at the hot tub as well as the pool and kind of locker room area to make sure that everything in that area is viewable in case, again, there was ever an accident or people, you know, bring guests in or people use the pool just for safety purposes. So we always have cameras in those areas for safety. And then just an update I wanted to notate, given the summer months and summer fun in Milwaukee here and being such a prime location in this area with Summerfest, Bradford Beach, the air show, all of the different festivals and so on. We live in the Downer bike race, we live in such a great area. So on third shift, obviously we have 2 security guards here overnight, 7 days a week. So our third shift security is planned to be stationed at the front desk, but they also have other duties to circulate the community as well as pull trash and just some other tasks that we have them complete overnight as part of security, checking doors, etc. So often, or not often, but over the past couple years we've gotten feedback that people have had troubles with visitors coming over third shift and them not being able to get in. Now, I just want to remind everyone and provide the update that if you do have guests staying here, please let the front desk know. Again, it takes 2 seconds. You could send an email or you could also just call or stop by. Why do we want to know that? Again, it's for security reasons. We do want to know who's obviously coming and going into the building. And now specifically, again, you have grandkids or family members who want to come see a Summerfest show. They, a Garth Brooks last night, for example, and they won't be back until after 11:30, right? And we don't want to just let anyone come into the building because it's very easy to obviously access people's names, information, and anyone could say, they're Pat Crump's grandchild and they're here to stay, and we want to just double check and make sure that we have that notated. We know who's staying in your apartment because obviously we want to welcome your family and friends to reside with you all, but we just want to make sure that we have a secure operations. And again, as always, being independent living, it is obviously our duty to make sure that we know that, but also if we need to get them back in and we need a specific time on that, please let us know. Otherwise, you are more than welcome, obviously, to come down at those wee hours and let them in yourself. But as always, please just let us know for the safety and security of your resident neighbors as well as our community. All right. And then last for my updates, our resident satisfaction survey. So very excited. I know Evan talked about it, Majorca talked about it. But we will be kicking that off on July 13th with a happy hour in here as well as in the patio courtyard with some music and cocktails that will have a Hawaiian flair, a luau-like flair, a summer party, one may say. And during that, we're going to go over just kind of how that experience goes for the resident satisfaction survey. Because again, we're not doing it competitions based on floors, but our goal is 100% participation from each and every one of you. And throughout that process, you will have what we like to call a survey champion, who will be one of our directors or managers who will drop the survey off personally to you and also pick it up. So we will not be having you, if you've done this before 3 years ago, returning it to the front desk. Again, if you don't have a time that you can meet one of our survey champions at your door, we will have the front desk available for that, but we just want to make sure we have, obviously, what is most convenient for each and every one of you. If we can physically deliver it and physically pick it up, that would be great. And then again, if you need assistance filling it out, your survey champion will be able to sit down with you and answer that and read the questions line by line. With the survey, there's many different areas, obviously, that will be rated. The community overall, each department, hospitality, residential services, community life, healthcare, IT, etc. So when we are scoring this, it's always important, if you have not had an experience in one area or there is a service or area that doesn't apply to you, oftentimes people would put 3, and that is not the right answer. You'd want to put NA, so not applicable. And so we'll go over this more as we have the surveys, and then we'll also attach a detailed report of that. But again, this is to capture, I'd say, the last 3 years, not necessarily the last six weeks or even 2 weeks, or if you're disappointed that your food didn't come in a green container, that doesn't mean we'd want to just reflect hospitality with, I disagree that they give a great service, right? Because that is a great service that we get from our hospitality department, reflective over the past 3 years, not just for what we experienced in that day. So more to come there, but I look forward to participating in that with each and every one of you. And then as you complete and hand in your survey, the survey champion will give you a funky cup that you'll be able to use as your little token to enter into the luau party that we will be having. And the luau is going to be very fun. We had the Polynesian dancers. They're coming with a drumline too from Chicago, which is great. And then we have a full pig that is coming as well, that Tim is going to be spraying down with water. Maybe some of you would like to participate in that, because it will be rotating on a spit in the courtyard that day. So we will be saying aloha and having a fun luau. I'm excited. So, and look forward to that. Excellent. All right. So those are my updates. Who has the first question for me? Yeah. Karen.
Has there been an issue with the building Wi-Fi lately? It seems that it gets dropped off my phone when I'm watching TV at night. The Wi-Fi is disconnected. I have to go back in and put the password back in.
So there was a question, has there been an issue with the building Wi-Fi lately? So interestingly, I would say it's not a systemic issue, but Joe and I talked about this week specifically. There is 3 access points that did go out ultimately. And so we have Digicor, our third-party support on this, who is coming out to check on that. So yes, it is technically on, one would say, but it was not in certain parts of the building operating to what I would consider appropriate strength and consistency. So that should be rectified. And then they are moving some of them, because the way the building was built, essentially, and how they were installed was up and down, and sometimes that is not the best way for Wi-Fi to be connected. So they are making it more adjacent to each other so that improves the enhancements of that. Because again, given the connections of our building and the concrete and the age, ultimately trying to kind of break through some of those areas is a challenge sometimes, and so Joe and our third-party IT is working on that. So thank you. And again, if you have issues with that and connectivity, oftentimes Joe, if you put in a work order, an IT work order, can come directly to your apartment to assist with that. And I will make note to that for both of you, because it could be specifically your areas, the IP address that you're connecting to. So I'll make note of that, and I'll have him check in on that. But again, please put in a work order, because again, that should not be normal. I know it is interesting because how people connect to Wi-Fi nowadays is a lot different than it was. And we have that capability, so even if you have 20 devices, which many people do, that connects into the specific areas and access points, it should still operate accordingly. Good question. What else? Yeah.
You have here on window washing schedule, I would like to see where 4 or 5 is in historic terrace and lake terrace. I've never been there.
So the question was on our window washing schedule for Lake Terrace and Historic Terrace, where is floor 5? I think that's where our green containers are going. Yes, there is in fact no floor 5. No one go and search that out unless you are in search of the green containers, but we will get that corrected. Thank you. It's funny because these memos go through about 5 people before they get approved, and we all miss that. So good one. We'll take care of that. Susan?
This area to the left of us, when we had the renovation going on, we often use that for dinner and just accessing a nice, quiet, unruly spot. Is this available to us without getting locked out?
The question was, is this courtyard area off of Lindsay Hall here available without getting locked out? So it does lock, because again, it is accessible from the outside. There is, if you do plan to go out there, we can unlock it for you. So please let us know, let the front desk know, and we can make that happen. Who has the next question? No? All right. Well, that is 10 minutes back in your day, which is great. Thank you all for modifying your schedules. We will see you next week for the director volleyball game. That's why so many directors are off today. They're resting up. I had to make sure that they're prepared. Otherwise, we will see you all soon. Thank you, everyone.